Good evening, people. This is your main man Fozzy, who's hosting UFT today, unscripted football talk. Got my obviously partner in crime, Laser, on this as well. He'll be on shortly. As you guys are all aware, Italy have won the Euros, the 2020 Euros. Italy have won. So, like I say, as always, fasten your seatbelts. Get ready for this. We're going to also speak about the racism that some of the England players have faced, and we'll bring our own point of view towards it as well. So, people, let's do this. Let's do this. Yes, Laser. What's happening, bro?
Yes, people just try to recover for the crazy weekend me and Fuzzy had. It's been a crazy week actually.
Yeah.
You know, I was down Wembley for the semi-final. I come back down to Birmingham, my hometown, and then back again meeting my boy Fuzzy on Saturday. And it
Yes,
was
sir.
absolute antics yesterday
Yeah.
down Wembley. But first of all, yeah, congratulations to Italy winning the Euro 2020. I think it was well deserved. You know, they're a very good side. You know, so
Yes.
I've got no qualms about them winning it. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate that England couldn't win it. You know, in their
Yeah.
hometown. You know, I think we missed the trick. It may be a long time, you know, before England could win it again or even host the tournament in their own
Yeah.
stadium. And I
Yeah.
think what needs to happen is the core group of players that we have now. We need to keep this same team and kick on for the World Cup, you know, next year. That's the only thing I could say. Whether Southgate's going to be the man to take England forward remains to be seen. Who knows?
Yeah.
For me
Yeah.
personally, I think he's a good manager. I think he may be a bit
Yeah.
calm at times,
Yeah.
but he's a little bit too pragmatic for his own
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. The thing is, a lot of people were talking about Southgate like negatively at the beginning of the tournament, and as the tournament went on, they started getting like used to his tactics and the way he
Yeah,
plays,
yeah.
and they were getting behind the team, which I like. Don't get me wrong, but you know, with the Italians, to me, they were the most impressive team in the tournament, and they played in a way that surprised everyone. They just took everyone by a storm, Laser. I don't know what
Yeah.
you think, but I think they took everyone by a
They
storm.
did. And I seen the signs there. Honestly, my dark horses, I had Belgium to get to the final. I thought France was going to possibly retain it again. But then
Yeah.
as I saw Italy play their second group game, there was
Yeah.
just something there. I think a lot of football fans went into the tournament quite blindly and just assumed you was going to have your France, your Germany, your Spain. When you looked at the form guide of Italy coming into the tournament, I don't think they conceded a goal in like
Yeah.
10 games or something like that. And you got to remember, Roberto Mancini is a good manager, he's a very experienced manager. They've got
Yeah.
very quality players in that team, in that squad, a core group of players that fight for each other, fight for the share. I think with England now, as you were saying, alluded to Gareth Southgate, there was a lot of talk, you know, a lot of negative talk. I hold my hands up, I was one of them. You know, is he the right man to do it? Are we going to be negative? There was even talk about some people saying, are we going to get out the group stage? But
Yeah.
as the tournament went on, and we thought, okay, we beat Scotland, the talk started coming. I think what our downfall is, this country's downfall, is bigging up our players too soon. It
Exactly,
puts too
bro.
much pressure. The media, as soon as something goes right, we look to go up there and pick them up.
Yeah.
When something goes wrong, bam, straight away, we just get discredited. So Southgate was essentially, and the players, a couple of penalties away from being knighthooded, being given
Yeah,
a knighthood.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
how crazy it is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But for me, when you look at the statistics and you look at the caliber of teams that Italy played, they were well-deserved winners of this tournament. And I enjoyed the football they played. I watched all their group games.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I've seen a couple of games you covered yourself on the channel,
Yeah,
bro. And they
yeah.
were fantastic, by the way. Very fantastic streams. And I thought to myself, wow, this team's solid. Yes, they conceded a goal. As the tournament goes, and it happens, you get a bit complacent, you get tired. They had a few unfortunate injuries, but they were a very strong side. And I think maybe having a full house at Wembley Stadium, all the songs is coming home, may have got to the England players, the occasion got the better of them, because I saw a few players starstruck yesterday. A few players wanting, a few players lagging. You got to remember they played a lot of football, a lot of club football, and Champions League football in a short, condensed space of time. You know what I'm saying, Fuzzy?
Yeah. Listen, like I said, I've said it to you many times the last couple of days when we've been hanging about, bro. Let me read the comments first of all, mate. Yes, hey lads, hope you're okay from Top Talk.
Yeah, big on yourself, Ali. Big on yourself,
mate.
Top Talk. He sent me a nice personal message earlier today, man. Very
nice
good lad.
bro.
Guys, go and check him out as well. Liverpool related. He does other stuff. He covers other games as well. He's a very good content creator. He's a young guy. You know, he's one for the future. Just go over to his channel and show him some support. Appreciate that, Ali. Thanks for stopping by, bro.
Yeah. Basically, like, with me and when it comes to Italy, at first I wasn't too sure about them because of the league they play in. Everybody underestimates the Italian league and they praise our league like our league is the strongest league in the world. Think about it this way. Think about it this way, Laser. The majority of our players play domestically. Majority of the Italian players play domestically.
Yes, that's right.
So our players are always like in the high regards. We have to spend like 100 million, 80 million to get them. And then you look at the Italian league, they don't spend much on their players.
No, they don't.
Look at and then you look at the difference. The Italian ain't as weak as people think it is because both teams they play domestically. This proves that Italian league is very, very strong.
It's strong. It's a strong lead
because they got a lot of veteran players. People like bring them down like they are nothing. We've got young players. I mean, see, that's what you said about earlier. That's what you said about like we're underestimating. We think we're too good for our actual position.
Good. Yeah.
So what do you think about the both of the leagues now when you look into that?
Well, if I'm going to be honest, I've said this before. For me, the Premier League gets overhyped. Yes, it's got all the glamour with the quality of players. You know, there's a lot of money involved. This is showing our age now. We can go back as far as nearly 30 years. So we're talking 1992, the Premier League formation. If you remember in them days, there was a rule, and this goes up to the young guys that don't know this stuff. You had to have in the Champions League when you played in the European competition, the European Cup as it was once known. You had to have a minimum of 4. I think it was 3 or 4 domestic English homegrown players in the actual first 11. You remember, Fuzzy? And it was the same thing in the Premier League. You had to include them in the matchday squad. And I think things changed. I think if I'm right, you can tell me this, Fuzzy, because you very know all your football knowledge, right? It may be Chelsea or Arsenal. It could have been Arsenal. Wenger. Chelsea was the first Premier League team to not feature no British English player.
I think it was Arsenal.
You know,
and Southampton, I think Southampton away. I think it was.
That's it. Scored a goal. I remember now. I remember. Yeah. And when you look at it, we have an influx of continental talent in the Premier League. So at the same time, it's not giving our own homegrown players any time to grow and develop. You know, yes, they might have to go a few levels below to the Championship.
So, Laser, is what you're saying? In the Premier League, the dominant force ain't the English players. Is the foreign players.
No, it's not, bro. No, it's not. You may get 1 or 2. You know, you get exception to a couple of gems. Raheem Sterling, for the moment, I seen him when Liverpool took him out from Queen's Park Rangers. You could see a talent there. You have your Michael Owens, Wayne Rooney, generational talents. You know, Harry Kane, we're not going to dispute him. He's a very good striker. You know, maybe slowing down a bit now with the injuries. These players come once in a while, but for my opinion, we may get a good player come from the ranks. Let's say, for example, John Stones. He came from Everton to Manchester City for 50 million. He wasn't worth 50 million at the time.
No way.
We overhyped our players. We overhyped the English talent. And then their heads grow. And then the next player is going to be worth 60 million. Harry Maguire. What did he go for? Was
85, something like that.
It's ridiculous and it's getting out of hand. And you got to remember, these players play with the cream of the crop. Your Sergio Agueros, your David Silvers, you know, your Virgil van Dijks, your Wijnaldums. I could go on and on and on. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, the Premier League isn't as strong as it's made out to be. You look at the Italian league, they have a high concentration of Italian-bred players playing in that league. And it shows in the national side, Fuzzy.
Yeah. Let me read some of the comments. Patrick's on. He said Southgate needs to leave, though the tie were easy. Do you think like where the group England came through, and you know the obviously the last 16 quarterfinals, semi-finals, was it easy way to come through it, Laser?
It was, to be honest with you, it's weird because you had the group of death with Portugal, Germany, and France. And I remember there was talk early, people saying, "Oh, if some of those teams get knocked out, the side of the draw that England was on, right, they could get through easily. Things were in their favour. Things were falling into place. You look at the first game England played was against Croatia. They struggled in that game. In that game. Croatia's not slouched. They're a good team, by the way. We had Scotland. Look at the performance. If I'm going to be honest, Scotland deserved the 3 points in that game. In my opinion.
Played well. They played well, mate.
They did.
100%.
They were very worthy of their draw. We scraped through against Czech Republic. We were already qualified. And then, for some weird reason, whether it was Germany or not at the top of their game, we know that they're not the best team anymore. You know, their coach, Joachim Low, is coming to the end of his tenure. They need a refresh in their squad. We beat Ukraine. For me, they're not a top side. Things fell into our place. You know, Wembley Stadium, all that factor. For me, we had an easy draw. We had easy, you know, things went into place. There was a few games where we made hard work than more than it should have been. For me, Denmark, when you look at so-called England's got all this amount of talent, the Premier League's the best league, we should be making light work of Denmark. We made hard work in that game.
We got the youth side as well, like on our side, like our team should be more energetic than the other teams, but we struggled. Let me yesterday when we were watching the England game together, Laser, I looked at Harry Kane. I like the guy. Don't get me wrong. He's a good striker on his own accounts. But if you're the captain of England, mate, you got to do run-ins. You got to close down people. You got to stop the ball going to the other side. He lost majority of the headers yesterday. He didn't track back at all. Mate, I don't even know if he had any chances. I didn't watch the full game afterwards, but I don't even know if he had.
It was very difficult, For what I see,
it wasn't a captain's performance.
It wasn't, man. He shirked away from it, and that's the thing. You could see the tiredness factor come into play. And I said this when we got to the semi-final. We went to extra time. I said this is going to come back to haunt. You could see a lot of players were lagging, and this is when Gareth Southgate, his experience comes into play. When you think about, you know, managing at the national team is completely different to managing top quality sides at domestic level. You got to think of teams. Hold on a minute. Sorry about this. You got to think of teams. Gareth Southgate managed prior to this. He managed Middlesbrough. He got relegated with them. I can't remember who else he managed before that. Can you enlighten me, Fuzzy? Because I can't remember now.
Under 21s, I think it was under 21s.
Yeah, under 21s, right?
Yeah.
So you see his lack of experience showed. The game was crying out for an injection of pace. Fuzzy, me and you were screaming at the TV set. We were saying, come on, get some legs on, fresh legs. Give Italy, you know, run for the money. Test Chiellini and Bonucci. They're granddad to the football world. Yes, they experience the very top players. But Sancho and Rashford, I don't want to be, an argument where, Southgate, this, that. But for me, it was easy and plain as day to bring on Rashford and Sancho on with 15 minutes to go.
Saka, as he comes on,
Yes, and Grealish getting drips and drabs, all that kind of stuff. For me,
in my opinion, Laser, he destroys players' confidence, mate.
Like
when he gets them in, gets them out. You know what disappointed me the most? I don't know if it's you. Let me read some of the comments, mate. He said, Top Talk says Italy deserved it 100% credit. No doubt about that, mate. Patrick says, facts, Italy went through hard times. They actually come through actual hard groups, hard games. So you can't really argue with that. Well, lads, hope you're better from yesterday, but you
big up to Stephen, big up to Stephen Somerville's good
and
guy,
Patrick
man.
as well.
Yeah,
and Patrick as well.
I see Patrick Gunn and Ali talk to me. Big up to yourself, Stephen. He sent me a nice commiseration message yesterday, personally.
Nice
and that's a nice touch, that is,
yeah.
Stephen. So I appreciate that, man. He hasn't gone unnoticed.
Yes, John Conway as well.
Yes, one
John.
of the UFT fans. Big up to yourself, John, man.
Please, people, like I always say, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, and, hit that like button as well. We're going to go on for a little bit, obviously. We're going to get into the races and bits because, we've got to talk about that. Laser, so what's next for our England team, mate? Like, what do we have to improve on?
We've got talent, There's talent in the side. I think what England need to do is keep that core group of players, add some more players from the rest. I think Bellingham needs to be given a chance in the friendlies and stuff like that. When you think about it, the World Cup is next year. It's around the corner. That will come in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think who else could take on the job? Southgate needs to be more brave. Someone needs to talk to him and say, look, go through it. And he reverted to type yesterday, playing 5 at the back. He played into Italy's hand. You know,
when I saw Trippier, I was angry, mate. I was really angry.
Yeah.
I said, really? You know, like, that team with Saka and Kane and Sterling, and you know, like you had the forward line, like the 4 at the back, got you to this stage of the competition. Why are you reverting back to cowardly 3 at the back with wing backs? I mean, why are you reverting that?
Because
it's not like you have. It's not like you have to like do that against Italy. It's like they haven't got pacey players that's going to go past our defense. You know what I mean? It's not, the logic in this just pisses me off, Laser. It's like we played into Italy's hand and they deserved that win.
And the goal came too early, came way too early. And it was on when I watched the first half highlights yesterday, you know, and my eyes couldn't take it anymore. I was tired. It was a long day for us. You know, we put in the work in yesterday. And what I saw is we didn't capitalize on that first 10-minute pressure. Italy was shaking, you know. They didn't know what hit them. That was a brilliant team play goal, by the way. Beautifully taken by Shaw. But we should have capitalized on that after 10, 15 minutes.
Laser, do you think like England scored too early, bro? Do you think they scored too early?
Yeah, too early, because I believe the game would have been cagey. I believe it would have been a tighter game. And Italy had to come back into the game, and they found their rhythm. What I saw, Fuzzy, after half an hour when I watched the the full match replay, right? Italy started to go into the game after 25 minutes, and then we went into our shell. We went into that defensive 5 at the back, and we were lumping balls. We were lumping a lot of balls. Ada, my bedroom, big up to Ada. Thanks for joining us, Ada. Big respect, man. Appreciate that, man. We were lumping balls forward, Fuzzy. We were playing like a low. We were playing like. I'll give you an example. Who was in the tournament? Like if Hungary got to the final.
Hungary,
we were better than that. We got quality players that could damage Italy.
But have we got quality players, bro? The more you look into it.
No, we have, Fuzzy. We have. Yes, we're overhyped. We have. Honestly, Gareth Southgate didn't use the players that we had in the squad to the full potential. He didn't. He didn't, man. Honestly, and this is not me saying he should get sacked. They can do what they want. I can't be arsed right now with the England national team. I'm going to be honest with you. It's all about Liverpool for me. I'm done. I'm going to be honest, you know what I mean? For many reasons.
You can't be lying to yourself. You can't be lying to yourself.
You know what I'm saying? And that there was an opportunity there to win it. Sometimes they have that saying that the best team wins. The best team did win last night, but sometimes when the best team hasn't won, we go back to 2004. Greece wasn't the best team that won that tournament, and they won it. Nobody could tell me they were the best team. They won it through grit and determination and heart in Portugal's own back stadium. You know what I mean? Bro. And the occasion, whether it's a psychological thing, mentally, what England may need to do is get a proper sports psychology scene and change that mentality, that laxy-daisy. It's
passed on from generations. If you look at it later, it's just a carbon copy of what we've seen before. It's like what happened to Liverpool Football Club for 30 years, if you know what I mean. It's just a carbon copy again and again. They need to get rid of that mentality. You know what I mean? Think about football. Think about how to play. Like what you do at your club, you could still do it in international football. Exactly. You know what I mean? You don't need to like listen to what that guy says. If you want to play passing football on the pitch, play passing football. Stop playing like you're a robot. Like, oh, I have to. Southgate told me pass it on the side, so I have to pass it on the side. That's the mentality you need to get rid of. That's what, in my opinion. I'm tired of watching the same crap season in, season out with England. I mean, this is why people. This is why people lost interest, bro. This is why people lost interest.
Exactly, and you could tell he's negative because he showed for me in the previous game, the semi-final game, when he brought on Jack Grealish, right? Was it 20 minutes to go or whatever time it was, and then he substituted him. So what does that tell you? Brings on a substitute, and the substitutes. How is that going to affect Jack Grealish's morale, his esteem,
mentality,
and his mentality? You could see his body language. When I was looking at Grealish yesterday, his body language didn't look right.
He didn't look like a player that was excited to play.
Yeah, he looked cheesed up. He looked cheesed off, man. Do you know what I'm saying? So a lot of things need to change for England. And it's going to be tough. A lot of people are already getting hyper and saying, the World Cup's around the corner. Excuse me, guys. The World Cup's around the corner. Guys, it's going to be difficult. Don't forget, it's going to be the hot country. It's going to be the hot country. There's going to be better teams there. this might have been a missed chance. Some of you younger guys watching this might be waiting to your our age, to your old man. Me Fuzzy might not get to see this, but for me, at the moment, I don't care one bit. You know, I enjoyed the ride. It's been a wonderful month.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it had this tournament. I'd had to say it a few times. I might have said it to you, Nick Fuzzy. It had the feeling of a World Cup. It didn't feel like a European Championship.
It didn't European Cup. No,
it felt like a World Cup. You know, it was good while it lasted. But big up to yourself, clap. Sterling, to me, was England's best player. Has been.
Do you think he was player of the tournament? Do you think he was the player of the tournament?
One of the players of the tournament. I'm going to let you take over for a bit now, Fuzzy.
No worries, man.
These vocal cords are stretched, man.
man. Yeah, Klopp says definitely proved me wrong. That's for certain. He means Sterling people. Sterling has proved a lot of people wrong. He has been outstanding in this tournament. You can't deny that. Put rivalries aside. He has been outstanding, and he has been basically the best player for England. I think, in my opinion, he should. Since he made it to the final, he should have got the player of the tournament by far.
Yes.
Facts, Laser, the Klopp says. They're talking to each other there. Obviously, I read that already. Let's just read the rest of them. What's the thing? Say Graham Potter would be a better suited. What do you think? What do you think?
Good shout, Patrick. Big up yourself for that. I mentioned that to someone not long ago, and they dismissed it. He plays progressive football, and that's
not negative.
Football. And that's watch how he plays for Brighton. I've seen Brighton take on Manchester City. The only thing with Brighton, they haven't got the quality players in the final third to put games to bed. They don't know how to score. They got everything right. The passes of play, the transitions, the triangle passes, playing on the flanks and stuff. He will be a good shout, actually, but maybe it's too early for him. I think he's young. He's like 40.
In my opinion, I think he's underestimated for what. Listen, he hasn't got all the tools in the world at Brighton. He ain't gonna get millions to spend.
No chance.
For what he's got, he's doing an outstanding job for what he's got. In my opinion, in a way.
He is Fuzzy. He is, man. He is.
He said England went Burnley FC style after Italy scored. They were just defending. They didn't have a clue. Listen, Patrick, they didn't have a clue what they were doing after that. Me and Laser were sitting there thinking, what are they going to attack? And every single time the ball goes to the front, it was coming back at England on a consistent basis, which pissed me and Laser off when we was watching it. John says, for my Ireland fan, he made the changes to late even to say, he's right. Like if you look at the changes, like Laser said earlier, people, the changes we make is pathetic. Absolutely, it's like a Hollywood script or something like that. It's not football thinking. It's not football thinking. I mean, you know when to make changes. If you're a proper manager, you know when to make changes. And
it had an air of inevitability about it. As soon as it got to extra time, you could see the script coming. And for me, it's almost like what you said, a Hollywood script, like the drama of penalties.
Yeah.
To me, that last 15 minutes, Italy were inviting, saying to us, come and attack us. And they had no legs, they had no pace up top. We should have went for the jugular. We didn't try enough. We didn't. Yeah. And you could see the body language when the players stood in the centre circle and they were crowding around. Nobody didn't really want to take a penalty. You could just sense it coming.
That's what I was coming to next, Laser. The penalty shootouts, mate. I told you, like, people, me and Laser watched it in my flat, so that's why we're speaking about that as well. Like we was here together yesterday watching it, and we went to Wembley as well.
Yeah, we actually went out, guys. We'll tell you a little bit of the story. We can make this a long podcast. I'm all right at the moment now. It's just that I'm struggling because of my voice.
That's we
was down Wembley, and as you know, guys, it's not a secret. There was too much trouble, so we went back to Fuzzy's and we watched the rest of the second half there. So it was actually better. I was able to see the game better because it was just too many people out. But going on the penalties, Fuzzy, as you were saying, bro.
So what did you think about, our captain Henderson and that coming off, mate?
Right.
And, being substituted. I want your opinion because you're the main man at this stuff. So tell me what you think of that. The experienced players not putting their hands up and telling the manager, I want to stay on to take the penalty. Tell me, later.
I ain't gonna bullshit anything. Sorry for that, Fuzzy. We like to keep it clean, but I ain't gonna shirk away from what I say. As you know, guys, this channel is unscripted football talk, but in a nice way, in a clean way.
Yes, sir.
What I mean by this, what I'm gonna say now, just because I'm a Liverpool fan, doesn't mean I can't criticize one of the players. For me, Henderson, many times in the tournament, he should have been played earlier. It was like, why ain't Southgate playing? But when it came to yesterday's penalty shootout, as a senior player, as one of the older guys, experienced guys, as a captain, he should have been there to take a penalty. He should have said, no, I'm not being substituted. What example does that set on the young players if a big
Yes,
grown
sir.
man and a leader is scared to take a penalty?
Yes, sir.
Players like Raheem Sterling as well. Yes, we know sometimes he flops it, but you just got to take your chances. It's better to be nervous and go through it than shirking away, or you're never going to do it. And putting all that responsibility, as Roy Keane said, and I love Roy Keane because he's another guy that tells it how he is. How he is. He don't shirk away from anything. How could these guys, these older guys, these guys that's had loads of experience at club level, Champions League level, you name it, how many caps they've had? Sterling's only 25 years old. He's got caps that players would dream to have. He's been playing for England when he was 19, 2014 World Cup. So he's got a bag of experience, guys. How could they let a 19-year-old baby walk past them in the front of the queue to take a vital penalty?
Like John says, bro,
Do you know what I'm saying, Fuzzy? It's not right, man. It's nothing to do with colour or nothing like that. It could have been a younger, different, ethnicity, 19-year-old player. He shouldn't have been given that responsibility to do that. It's too much for him to carry that burden on his shoulders.
Too much to carry.
He's never even done it for Arsenal. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's too much, man, and it could make or break him. We're going to see what he's made of and how Arsenal are going to handle him, but we're going to go into all that other stuff in the moment.
Of course. Yes. Patrick says, Grealish said that he asked to take one and Southgate decided those dudes were better takers. I don't know what Southgate is watching, mate.
Sometimes you're going to take this with a pinch of salt. Sorry to interrupt.
I'm with Laser. Sorry, go, Laser. Go, man.
No, say your piece, boss. Say your piece.
I'm with Laser exactly what he said about the senior players. The senior players shirked it, people. I'm telling you right now, those senior players should be ashamed of themselves. Our captain as well, he should be ashamed of himself, especially what club he comes from as well. You don't come off if there's a penalty shootout if you're a senior player. You tell your manager, I'm taking it. I don't want the kids to take it. I don't want them facing all that rubbish after the match. I want to take it. If I score, I score. If I don't, I don't. That's what should have been said by these senior players, but they shirked it. They bottled it. Those kids ain't to blame. You need to look at the senior players, people. That's what you need to look at. And Harry Kane should have said something as a captain as well. Let the kids watch. Let the senior players take the penalties. That's what he should have said. That's why I say he should never be a captain. Maguire should be a captain. Henderson should be a captain. People at the back that's more visual in the games, not person who's going to be standing up front of the whole game who don't even run for the team. He's a good player. Don't get me wrong. In his own club things, you know what I mean, with Song and all that stuff. But when it comes outside that, it's a different story. Yes, he scores goals, people. But what do you do after the goals? You need a team player. You need a team player, man.
And he never had a good tournament up until he finally got the goal against Germany. And all the media, that's just like I was saying, media in this country hypes all the players are like, it's Harry's tournament, Harry's come alive and this, that and that. You know what I mean? He was nowhere to be seen in the group stages. He was running like he was an old man. And this is not a personal attack for any Tottenham fans that may be watching this. It's not. It's not a personal attack on Harry Kane because I respect him and I think he's a good player. He's a good centre forward. But he was nowhere to be seen. And when it's counting for, a captain has got to stand up and make themselves heard and a presence. And for me, he lacks that even the way how he talks in his interviews. He just doesn't have that captain's aura about him. I don't know what he does behind the scenes.
Something doesn't. He's not. He just wants to play football, but they put too much burden. It looks like to me there's too much weight on his shoulders. If you look at him play, he's carrying the whole world on his shoulders. You know what I mean? Let's read the last comment before we go on the racism bit. Probably Grealish asked, and Southgate was like, "Shut up, man! Don't make me sub you again." LOL.
Patrick, coming with the humour.
Patrick is just killing it, man.
Patrick.
So,
Patrick, I got a question for you, man. What do you think of beans that you won today? Some of the Man City. What do you think of? There was a lot of hype going into the tournament with Phil Foden. Dyeing his hair. Is he going to be replicating a bit of the Gascoigne? What do you think of him being in the tournament? I want to ask you, Fuzzy, and then I want you to give us some thoughts, please, Patrick, if you don't mind.
What do you mean about
Of
dyeing his hair in
Foden
there?
and a whole just all the hype surrounding him coming into the tournament, because I didn't see him do anything in this tournament, to be honest with
There's
you.
a lot of players, bro. There's a lot of players that's overhyped. That's in the team. That's not good enough, mate. I mean, not yet. Not just yet. They need time to understand the game before they, start doing business on the actual like England stage and all that stuff. But like I said, if they play in a certain system, it's never gonna improve them, bro. It's never gonna improve them. This is what we're gonna see, and it's up to England if they're gonna keep the manager that plays this kind of system, or is he gonna get someone who's gonna, like they said, Graham Potter, who plays positive football.
Yeah,
That's what they need,
progressive
Laser.
football.
That's
Yeah,
what.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about the racism before we go, bro. These three players, obviously, have been getting abuse online by a lot of people, by the way, and I
Oh
don't want to
dear,
say
oh
the
dear.
words that's been used.
Yeah, we're
And
not gonna say that on here.
a lot of people have been shirking saying things about this. But first of all, what do you think about this abusive things online they always talk about? And secondly, what do you think about the people that were getting attacked at the stadium as well, like the Italians and the black people that been
There's a
cornered and
lot
they've
to
been
say.
attacked?
I was going to say something earlier, and the thing is, we've got to be careful what we say
What we say, yeah.
and what information is given to us, because I received a
Yeah.
message on my personal line, and it was basically apparently, and this is apparently, it's not confirmed, I can't find it on the internet yet. A young black female was stabbed to death. Her name is Mary, apparently. She got caught
Yeah.
up in a melee after the game yesterday. Whether that
Yeah.
information is true, who knows? But if that's
Yeah.
the case, it's absolutely disgusting. Going on to the players, as you said, the first question asked, right? The abuse is absolutely disgusting. You know, me and Fuzzy are older guys than a lot of our younger viewer base, right? And guys in the
Yeah.
community. Racism, for me personally, I don't think it will ever end while I'm alive on this planet. I've suffered personal racism, and
Yes.
it's hard as a black man, a man, you know, with Afro-Caribbean heritage. It's
Yes, sir.
been hard. I've been made to not be myself in the workplace. I've experienced it doing sports as a kid.
Yeah.
I used to play a little bit of football, you know, walking down the street. I've lived in areas where it's predominantly Caucasian white people, you know, and you've been made to feel, you know, different, you know, workplace, you know, institution racism. You know you're better at a job than a certain person of color, and you're not being looked at it, you know, for your credentials, stuff like that. As the football, right, it's like a throwback to the 1980s, but now it's not being on the terraces, it's being on social media. Now, something needs to be done. Something really needs to be done. These social media accounts, what people are opening up, right? It's easy to do. You pick your phone up, a few taps, there's no verification. Twitter, right? Instagram, all those places, Snapchat, need to stamp it out. There has to be something in the core done, because it's too easy for people to make accounts, hack accounts, hurling all this abuse. And for me, I don't think nothing is being seriously done. Yes, we got the taking the knee, we got the kick it out campaign, no to
BLM.
racism, a few banners, but I don't think on a bigger scale nothing is being really seriously done. And me and Fuzzy could go on and on about
Let me
this,
say
guys.
something over here, mate.
Yeah.
Let me say something over here, yeah.
Speak your mind, Fuzz.
We know, I've said this obviously on a little video on Instagram. We know what the power of the people can do when they all get together. That's black, that's white, that's Asian, that's etc. Whatever it is, whatever humans they are. We know the power we can do when we stop the Super League. Why don't we ever work like that hard on racism? That's what I don't understand. This BLM, kick it out, never works. We've seen it for so many years. It never works.
Never works,
So why
man.
don't people in the stands that actually stood up for football in this country don't stand up for the black people and the minority in this country when it counts? Why don't they do that, Laser? That's what I don't understand. That's what pisses me off the most. When people tell me about BLM and kick it out, I say, you know what? I've got no interest in this. It never works. How long do we have to wait? Every single time you watch it on TV, it's the same interview again and again and again. I don't want to hear this no more.
Prime Minister comes out, he says a few words, and it's just words. It's just words. Actions speak louder than words, and something needs to be done properly. I want to see jail sentences for the culprits, like serious things done, not just a fine and a ban, because then they move on to other things and catch the culprits and lock them up. You know, as for the violence,
They know who they
well,
are, Laser. They know,
know,
who they are. With this technology we've got in the modern day, they know who they are, bro.
Of course, bro. But the thing is, right, we have to take a lot of blame. And when I say we, I mean the authorities, right? Because me and Fuzzy were there. We were there in person. We wasn't in the stadium, but we were very there. We were in the thick of it. And what we seen with our own eyes, we were there early, people. And when I mean early, we were there early.
Yeah.
People were jumping on top of buses, yes, they were in the spirit.
Yes.
But after a while, they were getting carried away. There was people have to cross the area with their families, so with kids, to get to one place to another, you know, pushing and shoving, bottles being thrown, flares set off in the crowds. There wasn't enough security presence and stewards and police there. Now, you got to think, right? And this is what gets on my nerves. I'm scratching my head all day today thinking, some people don't have a brain. And I'm going to touch on one of the places that me and Fuzzy went to watch the game as well. We're going to bring it all up, guys. You know, and I appreciate everyone that's still with us, who are with us, the viewers, and for those that are going to watch us on a replay. So big up to yourself, people.
Big up, man.
Basically, right, what it is cutting corners, cutting costs, the police cuts. I know there's people that have their opinions on the police, you know, whether that's racial matters or any other matters. Right? Yeah. They're there to do a job. So there's been cuts being made on that. With the security as well. A lot of security and stewards, what they do to cut corners, they will get unlicensed security in and not pay them accordingly. So the guys that do have their license and that's worked hard will probably say, I don't want to do it. It's not worthy of my time. I don't want to get my hands dirty. Me and Fuzzy know this firsthand. So they get the young students that want to make a bit of extra cash to do the job. They've got no experience of handling crowds. What I've seen, you got to think of the magnitude of this event, people. It's a final. You got to think of it's a very dangerous concoction because people were locked up for nearly 18 months. And when I say locked up, I mean the pandemic. So when me and Fuzzy was there, we seen people that had no interest in football. Those people that had no business being there, but they wanted to have a good time. It was freedom. It was like a carnival atmosphere. And the authorities should have known this. Surely they got brains. Me and Fuzzy knew this from day one. We said to each other, Fuzzy was saying to me, Laser, let's go early and let's get down there because there's going to be crowds. Let's do our interviews. Let's do our business, our promotion, and then get out there and find a place to watch the game. Right? You cannot just go there at time and think it's going to be la-di-da. Wednesday was busy, but yesterday it was ridiculously busy.
It was the worst.
It was easily over a million people, would you say, Fuzzy?
Yeah.
Possibly a million people.
Yeah.
You know, so they're going to take blame and they're hiding away from this. And now, yes, the racists, the hooligans, the lager louts, they're all being given the blame tag. But the authorities are going to take their share of the blame and not be progressive enough and putting the right things in place, the right infrastructures in place, because we needed the right measures in place with the security, the police, everything safeguarding. People are rushing Wembley. Now, imagine the terrorists are crazy.
Yes, I knew it was coming to this.
Sorry, guys, got into the stadium.
Yeah. It was that easy.
Fuzzy,
it was that easy.
Fuzzy. Talk to the people.
You know what's funny? There was a few people outside the stadium that told me and Laser, come with us. We're gonna get into the stadium, one way or another. Me and Laser are, those guys who are still they keep their head, on the low. We don't need trouble. We don't need no problems. Those people actually got into the stadium and they were standing in front of the people that actually paid for the tickets. So when you're watching the game, you couldn't see nothing. You couldn't see anything. You couldn't see nothing. You paid your hard-earned money to watch England in the final, and you get these. And I think they were talking about the crowd, saying the crowd wasn't loud enough. There was a lot of people booing and all that stuff.
Yeah, they were booing. There's lots of booing, cheering as well, man. It didn't sound loud and vocal. Booing the anthem, and it's a disgrace, and this is why we get looked down upon as a nation. You go abroad, you go to Spain or whatever, because there's a high concentration of English people, British people that like to take holidays in Spain. We all know this. And when you go over there to certain places, you get frowned upon. Oh, look, here they come, causing their trouble, drinking. There's got to be a huge culture shift now, a change in that. Because it follows us everywhere. And as you said, it's a generational thing, Fuzzy. Yeah. And it don't seem to be changing. It's getting worse.
It's passed on. It's passed on,
worse in a different way. I've seen grown men with their kids doing all this nonsense as well.
Yeah.
Isn't it, Fuzzy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen some horrific things outside Wembley. We can't go
Yeah.
into details, people.
Yeah, we can't
But
discuss it.
fathers doing things their kids were watching, and that will never happen in day of life. If people seen what we've seen, you'll be shocked. You know what I mean? And we're not innocent people in this country. We're not innocent. People from all around the world always predict what we do, and we keep not letting them down. We do it time and time again, and we never learn from it. How can we get tournaments in this country now, Laser? How when we do things like this? How are we gonna get? We can't police it. We can't control our own people. Our people don't give a damn if they whatever they do. You know what I mean? And how can we control it?
Yeah.
Mate, did you see that bus that was getting smashed outside the stadium?
We see it
bus,
first,
a London bus.
We see it first, bro. And the thing is, this is what's embarrassing, and this is why they got egg on their faces. But at the moment, they're trying to deflect from that, and they're using the racist thing and all the hooligans. When you think about it, the racist thing does matter. It's a very, it's a
very
strong, important subject, right? So we can't shirk away from this. But when you think about the Wembley factor, I think the capacity should have been 60. It wasn't the full 90. But easily, I reckon 90 odd people was in there. There was people sitting on the steps in the aisles and that, bro, in front of each other. It was like a terrace. It was like the terraces, right? So you think about what you seen on TV, people, with the people barricading, jumping over the barriers, going up the stairs, rushing the stewards. But what did you see? Did you hardly see a big line of stewards and security? Did you see a big line of police? No. If anyone had seen that, they would have thought it was some normal event, like for cricket or something. So they have got to take huge blame. They've got to take, because a lot of people's lives could have been put at risk in Wembley Stadium yesterday. There could have been a bomb let off.
What angered me, Laser, we had that obviously videotape and all that stuff. The security were too busy concentrating on us than the people that was actually doing the actual harm on the street. Yeah. That's what angered me. You see me, I'm hardly an angry guy.
Fuzzy is one of the humblest brothers going, people, honestly.
I want berserk. I want berserk. I couldn't believe they were picking on us with that camcorder and not picking on those people that's actually jumping on a bus, smashing the bus in the same street. That's what angered me. Let's finally, Laser. I said in my Instagram post, I said it's time for all of us.
Yeah, I saw that.
It doesn't matter if whatever color you are. We stood up against the Super League. It's time for all of us to join together and get rid of this disgusting people at the stadiums. I don't care. Listen, we might not get rid of everyone. But in football terms, let's get rid of these people.
Yeah, man. I think we need to be more vocal, as you were saying earlier.
Do you think that the players should protest, mate?
The players should protest.
Do you think they should? Because at the end of the day, ladies, this will affect their kids, their grandkids, and everyone else. Shouldn't they forget about the money sometimes? But what's important, your kids or your money? Your kids or your money? What's important here? You know what I mean? That's what you need to look at.
Money, you know what I mean? It's about pride. It's about self-esteem. It's about morals as well. Do you know what I'm saying? That should come above all the money and the glamour. Yeah. But as I was saying, I'm in two minds about this. For me, I've got two ways about it. The players of black origin shouldn't just quit the England national team. This is what they want for us, because then it will give the racists that they've won. They will enjoy it. They've won. But when you think about it, right? On the other hand, they've got to do something to be taken seriously, whether that's a strike. And it has to start from club level, So, for example, there's been a lot of noise that was made for the Super League. There's Manchester United made so much noise about their owners, the Glazers. Liverpool fans, yes, we know we have our issues with our owners, FSG, but we didn't make as much noise as Man United. They went to the point of getting the game cancelled and postponed, and it backfired. But
don't forget, now they're buying Sancho's. Everything's forgotten. Everything's forgotten. You don't hear about it anymore.
And you see.
That's what happens all the time.
Fickle fans, and this is what I mean. Why don't you fans, if you care so much about your Raheem Sterlings, players of black origin, fight for them, do a march, do a protest? I'm going to tell
You
it how
do it
it
for
is.
Super League.
I'm being
You
real.
do it for the
I'm
Super
going to
League.
tell it how
You
it
do
is.
it.
This is what this
Yeah,
channel's
yeah,
about on
it's true.
Streets of Football.
It's
So
true, bro.
do
It's
a
true,
march,
bro.
be vocal, look after your players. Don't just forget now that the Euros is over and let's say, oh, who is signing? Oh, who is signing now? Oh, it's back to normal. Oh, yeah, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, they've got Sancho. Oh, are we going to get
Yeah.
Mbappe and this? Fight for it, because all it's going to be is going to be another closed book, yeah? I'm ready to swear now because I'm so passionate about this, yeah?
Nah, it's
It's going to be another
understandable,
closed
bro.
book. It's going to get swept under the flipping carpet and the flipping rug, yeah? And forgotten about, and then we're going to have another bloody international friendly or something of that caliber. The UEFA Nation League, something's going to happen again, whether it's going to be Bellingham or it's going to be Sancho. Same bullshit's going to happen
Bullshit
again.
again.
It's after hours now, guys, so I'm going to say my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah?
You've seen the book.
Unscripted football talk.
You've read this book before, bro. You've read this book before.
Yeah,
We've
and I'm
seen it
sick of
before.
it, and it left a real bitter taste. I had a long drive back from London. I had to stop off our service station. I had to gather my thoughts, bro. I woke up, and it wasn't just the case of England lost. Yes, I was disappointed for them. I was, you know, but it was more the aftermath, the fighting.
Yeah.
It's uncalled for. It's a sport. You shake hands, you congratulate each other, you hand out your commiserations. I had the decency when Denmark lost the other day, and it was Denmark, a nice Denmark-Danish couple standing on a platform on a tube station. I left my boy Fuzzy to go his way. I went another way. And it was a Danish couple, right? They looked like they was in their 40s. There was loads of England fans singing. I had to tell them, calm down. I went up to them and I said, commiserations. But you got the selfish fans that be like, in their faces, oh shit. After the full-time whistle, for me, when the whistle goes, it's finished. That's not needful.
It's just a game.
It's
just a game at the end. I've always said it, Laser. I've always said that's the DNA we share. Football. It's just a game. You know what I mean? Football comes first, club comes second. That's how it is. Without football, clubs or countries don't exist. You know what I mean? In football terms, that's what you need to think about, people. You know what, Laser? With the racism thing, I've always said it. Like when people bring up, because like you said, we've been around for a long time. People like, I'm in my 40s. I've been around for years. I mean, I've seen football in the 80s all the way to now. You know what I mean? So I know what I'm talking about in football terms and racism
of course,
terms.
bro.
I've seen it. Man. I've seen it myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what we need to do as a nation, as people, is stick together through things like this. March on, do something. Somebody organize something.
So unity. So unity. You know,
we did it against the Super League and all that. Why can't we do it against racism, people? Get these people out of the stadiums.
But I think it's half-hearted. It's too half-hearted for me. I'm going to be honest. It's half-hearted.
But don't forget, our people are involved as well. Our people are involved as well. They were part of the Super League movement. They were part of the Super League movement. Why can't they do something about this as well, bro? Because it will affect their kids and their kids' kids and everyone
the
else.
generations to come. And you can see, when I look at Marcus Rashford, right? I'm happy to stay on a bit longer, Fuzzy. Right? Big up to everybody's locked in. Big up to people that watch this on a replay. And don't forget, guys.
Sorry, I'm not reading the comments.
Please share this as much as possible, guys. We're trying to get this channel off the ground. Me and Fuzzy had a bit of difficulties beforehand. So this is the rebirth again of Unscripted Football Talk. We're here to stay, guys. We ain't going nowhere. The yellow and black ain't going nowhere. We're Liverpool fans as well. We're on this joint project together, this joint venture. There's a lot of things to come from me and Fuzzy. Right? But as we were saying now, going back to Marcus Rashford, when I look at Marcus Rashford, he's how old is Marcus Rashford? He burst onto the scene in 2016. He was 18, so he's 23, approaching 24. When I look at him, I see a player, I see a man that's carrying a lot of stuff on his shoulders. I see a man that looks like he's burdened. I see a man that looks unhappy. I see a man that don't look like he's enjoying his football no more. I see a player that looks miserable, that almost looks like he wants out. He don't look happy for Manchester United. He don't smile anymore. If you notice when he scores goals, he just does like a high five thing to Fernandes. He don't. Where's that Rashford that burst onto the scene? That was a streetwise, hungry, dangerous, terrorised Arsenal, terrorised a couple of teams in the Europa League. He terrorised Manchester City. PSG. I remember that you got go well, PSG. Yeah. Where's that Rashford? He gets so much abuse. I've seen things online. I've seen people casually say, oh, and this is what I said, there's different forms of racism. There's that covert racism, institutional racism, where some people, whether they're not educated enough, there needs to be more education involved in this, and it starts from the bottom, you know. So I'm talking like schools, things like that. A lot of people, as we were saying, it's a generational thing, because I've seen people casually say, oh, the coloured guy, and it's like, don't refer
Who's
to me
coloured?
like that.
Who's coloured?
Don't
Who's
refer to
coloured,
me
man?
as a coloured guy, and then it's passed down to their people, and it'll be like things like, oh, I think your lot are all right. What do you mean your lot? Like,
Yeah,
what? Do you know what I'm saying? There's other things I
yeah,
could say, people, but I'm not going to discuss any. But as I was
yeah.
saying, yeah, I've heard people say openly like, oh, Marcus Rashford's a dickhead, or look at him, he should concentrate more on his football than feeding the fucking starving. I
Exactly.
can't say it,
Yeah, they say
and
that.
people are
They say
saying that
that. I've seen it.
openly.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about now the Euros, before it, because this has been going on for a
yeah,
year. Him
yeah.
helping out with the feeding,
The
the
feeding,
less
yeah.
privileged people
Food banks,
and
innit?
stuff
Food
like that, and
banks,
food
yeah,
banks. He
yeah,
does a lot of work for the community, and this is,
yeah.
I'm telling you, people, for
He's a
those that
young
are
boy.
watching,
He's a boy. He's a baby. He's a baby.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
for
He's
you
just a kid.
scumbags that might be watching this, and this is shared around, sort your bloody selves out, sort your brain out, because I'm telling you, you're all quick to jump on that. Like, some of these players of black origin, yeah, that work hard for your clubs you support, your Chelsea FCs, your Arsenals, your Manchester United, your Liverpool, your Tottenham
Nice
Hotspurs,
one, bro.
that help your club win trophies, get fourth places, and as soon as it doesn't work out, you show your true bloody colours. Sort your shit out. I tell ya, don't be a part of
We
it.
can't stand for no
I'm
more. We
telling
ain't
you,
gonna stand for it no more.
you're not a real person. You're not a man. You're hide behind computer screens. You're hide behind mobile phones. You have a bit of alcohol in your system, and you think you're brave enough to try that sort of stuff. I'm telling you now, I'm really passionate today now. And it needs to be eradicated. More needs to be done. And people that
Yeah.
show that they care, I'm not insulting no one, jump on the bandwagon and show
Yes,
that you
sir.
care and
Yeah.
support your players that play for your
Well said.
clubs
Well
and
said,
your
mate.
national team.
Well said, mate. Well said, mate. People, like
Thank you, Fuzzy.
Laser said, people support this movement. It's gonna happen. We don't care anymore. We ain't gonna stand for this crap anymore. I'm done with it. Laser's done with it. A lot of people are done with it. These are babies on the pitch, people. These are kids on the pitch, and all you're doing is abusing them. Think about your own kid getting abused. That's what you need to start thinking before you do these things like on a regular basis. That's how these things are happening on a regular on black people at the moment. It's unacceptable. I'm not accepting it anymore. I'm done. Like Laser said, he said facts throughout what he said. I agree with 100%. I will never back down whatever he said. I'm done with this bullshit. Don't give me BLM. Don't give me kick it out. I don't care. They don't do enough. It's time for people in the stadiums and everybody else get together and do a movement just like they did with the Super League and get rid of these big time idiots who don't know what they're doing anymore.
We're done with it. It's like I could go back to when Sterling was playing for Manchester City against Chelsea last season before last, and he was getting abused openly on the pitch. What happened to those culprits on camera? Did they get jail sentences? So, people are getting away with it. So it's being made to be accepted. A few little words get said by the Prime Minister.
It's a normal thing. It's like brush it under the carpet.
Exactly. Like so swept under the carpet. Enough is enough. I'm telling you that because this could get dangerously out of hand. It's getting to levels where
I've never been this down. I've never been this down. You saw me in the morning, bro. I was down. I was so upset when I saw those videos. I saw them corner a black man in the stadium, and they're all rushing him. I seen an Italian man on the floor getting battered, like kicked on the face and all that stuff. How can they get away with things like this? You know what I mean? They have all the footage in the world, and they don't do nothing about it. Enough, man. I swear to you, Laser. Enough. Something's got to be done before it. Listen. It could affect us in our families. It could affect every family in this country. That's what you guys need to understand, people. People, please, let's do something about this because it's not acceptable. These things should never happen, especially in 2021. Look, we're in 2021. I mean, and we're still facing something we faced in the 70s, 80s, or whatever it is before that.
It's just players like John Barnes. You had the 3 degrees for West Bromwich Albion, Cyril Regis, all those players. Viv Anderson, the first black player of origin to play for the England national team, all faced this in the 1970s and 80s. And fast forward to nearly 40 years later, the Marcus Rashfords, the Sanchos, the Sakas, the Sterlings are all getting the same disgusting treatment as our predecessors, and nothing has changed, and it has to stop now. Something has to be done.
All right, Laser. thank you for tuning in, everyone. Honestly, thank you for
Pleasure,
tuning in,
bro.
ladies.
Pleasure,
I
man.
appreciate this. I hope you enjoyed this, and I say this to you wisely, people. Share the channel, man. Share this stream as well. Let other people see what we was talking about today, because it'll be educational for some people that don't understand how we feel deep inside, because we are hurt, man. We are hurt for our younger brothers, what's happening to them in the pitch and what's happening to them in the social media things as well, because it should never happen. It's these things in the modern day should never happen. And I'll keep repeating that, and I'm telling the truth, people. Like I always say, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Obviously, leave us a comment after this video if you just tuned in, and hit that notification button. Share the channel around, like I always say, people. Laser, I'm out, bro. You as well.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
Peace. I'm out. Not as energetic
care,
as usual, but I'm out.
Take care, mate. Take care, everyone. Honestly, much appreciated for coming on today. I hope you enjoyed this. Please share the channel, like I always say. Take care, everyone. Take care.